Hey everybody, welcome to Insight Tennis Tour Stroke Series. My name is Rick Oldroyd. I'm the president and founder of Insight Tennis. I'm also the head pro. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the forehand again, and I've got some questions, or had some questions rather, about the high ball. I just did a video on handling the low ball and the technique behind that. And we've gotten some feedback that we wanted to see a video on the high ball and how to handle the high ball. So this is a scenario, there's a couple of different scenarios that could present themselves here with a high ball. One of them is you're coming in, you've got a short ball and it's going to sit up a little higher and you're going to come in and just, end the point. The other scenario is when you're at the back of the court and your opponent has hit a ball with a pretty high trajectory over the net and it's going to actually bounce up pretty high. You have a decision to make in that particular scenario. You either have to step in and take that ball on the rise, right? Or you've got to move back and allow the ball to drop back down into your strike zone. The problem with the second option and moving back is that you give up too much court position. So if you're going to do that, you've got to make sure that you hit the ball with decent margin for error and also depth so that you can get yourself back into the point. Before we get into that particular shot though, I want to look at the mid-court ball that's higher than chest level or at least shoulder level. And let's talk a little bit about why this shot is missed so often. At the recreational level and the club level, the biggest problem that I see is this has actually got to be hit differently than you would hit a normal ground stroke. So let's just assume for a minute that I'm back here at the baseline and my opponent has hit a shorter ball and I'm running in, right? I come in and I can see the ball's going to come off the net, or come off the ground rather, and it's going to be a high ball. So the tendency for most people on this shot is to take their normal ground stroke and they drop their racket down here and the ball is up here. And so they've got to travel from clear down here all the way up to here to make contact with the ball before they can hit the shot. Makes absolutely no sense, obviously, to start with a racket clear down here when you want to hit the ball that's up here. So unless you consciously think about this, it's probably not intuitive. So that is the problem. That's the problem that I see and the reason why most people miss this shot. So what is the solution? Well, the solution is simply to prepare higher. If the ball is already going to be high, the key to this shot is to come in with the racket higher than you normally would and still maintain, you're still going to allow the racket to be below the level of the ball, right? So the racket's going to come back like this and it's going to release back here, but instead of down here, it's clear up here. And then as I come into the ball, I'm still coming from a lower position to a higher position, right? So I'm still going to be imparting some spin on this shot, but I'm also below the level of the ball. And so I'm going to come in, I'm going to make contact, I'm going to release out through that shot and finish. So again, the key element here is to prepare higher. When the ball is going to bounce chest level or higher than chest level, you don't want to be starting with your racket, taking a normal backswing here and lowering your racket down into position, only to have to bring that racket clear back up to here again. So again, it's not really intuitive unless you think about that. So the next time you have a ball that's sitting in the middle of the court, you come in and you're not going to be able to take it as low as you'd like. You're going to have to put a ball away that's a little higher. You're going to come in like this and you're going to take the ball up here and then you're going to release back. Notice that I'm still staying below the level of the ball. Let's say my hand is the height of the ball here. If my racket is here, my racket is still below the level of the ball. And so as I come into that ball, I'm going to make contact here and I'm going to release out through that shot and finish. Now obviously if I don't hit a winner, I'm going to continue to continue into the the net and be ready for the next shot. Now, there's one other thing I want to talk about here. You're going to determine the trajectory of your racket and the angle of attack, trajectory of attack, based on how high, relative to how high the ball is relative to the net. So if I'm here in the middle of the court and the ball is above the level of the net, obviously I don't have to put a lot of topspin on that ball. I can be more aggressive and I can hit that ball a lot flatter, but I am still going to want to be slightly below the level of the ball so that it does come down on the other side of the court. If I'm further back in the court and the ball has come back here and I'm still taking it at a higher trajectory, right? Let's just say we're going to take it up in here. That's going to be a little bit different story. Now I'm going to have to come into that ball. Remember, I'm preparing high and then I'm releasing back. And as I come into that ball, I want to come from a relationship where I'm below the level of the ball up to impact and then extending out a little higher through the ball, right? And that's going to impart the spin on that shot. So again, the key things to take away here is that when you have a high ball, you need to prepare high. So instead of taking your racket here and dropping it down here like you normally would, prepare high and then just allow your racket to only drop to here. And then as I come into impact, you can see I'm slightly below the level of the ball and I'm making contact above shoulder level here. I can still hit a very offensive shot if I will just prepare high but allow my racket to drop a little bit below the level of the ball. Now, if you've seen one of my other videos, I talk about a relationship in terms of how far below the level of the ball. I think for at least you want the top of the racket to be at the bottom of the ball. So this relationship here, that relationship there is pretty good, even on a high ball. At the very least, you want that. On a regular ground stroke, granted, it's going to be much more than that. But on this particular shot, you want at least that relationship so that you are below the level of the ball and then you come up in. So once again, in review, the ball comes and I can see that it's going to land short in the court, but it's going to also be up. So as I'm coming in, I want to prepare high. So I'm up here and then I'm going to allow my racket to drop to about here, and then I'm going to come into the ball from slightly lower into a higher position and release out through that ball. Remember, if the ball is above the net, I can be more aggressive and hit it flatter. If it's not quite as high, I've got to vary how much spin I impart on the ball, because clearly I have to bring it down on the other side. So the next time you're out there on that high ball, think about preparing high up to the level of the ball and allow your racket to drop slightly below the level of the ball. Swing normal from a slightly lower position to a higher position, and you're going to hit that ball a lot more offensive. You're going to hit it a lot more consistently, and you're going to win a lot more points. Hopefully that's going to be helpful for you. If you like this video, please click the link below and subscribe to our channel, Insight Tennis. Also visit the website, insighttennis.com. A lot more content will be added. We've got a lot of new things happening on the website. It's a work in progress, so be patient with us. We're a brand new company to the online instruction industry, obviously, but as I've mentioned many times before, not new to tennis. I've been playing tennis now for 30 years. I've been teaching tennis at a very high level for over 20 years. I played college tennis. I played a little bit on the beyond college. So again, we want you to send in your videos as well. I talk about this all the time. I've gotten a lot more videos the last while, so we appreciate that. But we have an opportunity, if you've gotten to a place in your game where you feel like you've just hit that plateau and you just can't seem to get any better. I've said this before, but in my 20 years of teaching this game, I've found that almost always has to do with biomechanics. and incorrect technique. So send in your videos. We'd love to help you out. We'll take a look at them, see if we can give you some pointers and tips to help you with your game. Like the video, share the video, and visit our website at insighttennis.com. As always, thank you for your time, and we'll see you out there on the court.